Moving on to a more positive topic, sexual harassment with the Washington football team. The Washington football team just had a $10 million fine because of the misconduct and the sexual harassment that a lot of their senior staff and some of their employees, and the way that they treated some female employees and some females as part of the Washington football team. $10 million fine. It's the biggest ever in the history of the NFL. You know, Dan Snyder has just been, you know, in the thick of all these different scandals, and nobody likes him. He's not a good owner of the players. He doesn't seem to be a good owner of the coaches. He doesn't seem to be a good owner of the fans. And now he's got this going on in his own shop. Why? I've never understood why anybody even likes this guy. So, I mean, Brandon, what do you think about this whole situation up in D.C. or down in D.C. rather?
Sadly, I'm not surprised at all. And then sadly, again, this is one of those things of how money talks and how money gives you so much power that this guy can get away with, like you said, being such a jerk and that nobody likes him, yet he still owns the team. He's still pushing people around. He's still being a jerk. He's still leading this atmosphere of, like you said, sexual harassment. I guarantee you there's probably some racism going on there. Guaranteed. Look at it, because obviously they had the name, right? This was the former team, the Washington Redskins. He never wanted to change the name. Then when they finally do agree to change the name, he's like, I'm just going to call it the Washington football team. Like, what's the audacity of that? Because he was so upset that he had to change the name of his racist organization. You know what I mean? And I get it. Trust me, I get it. I loved the team going back. I think there's a lot of rich history on this team. Obviously, Art Monk was one of my favorite Washington Redskin players. You know, that guy was unbelievable. If you do not know about Art Monk, YouTube him. You're on YouTube now. Give us a subscribe and then go look up Art Monk's clips. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm just really not surprised by Dan Snyder, the audacity of this guy. He thinks he can buy players left and right. Honestly, big shout out to one of my favorite NFL players of all time, Deion Sanders, who pulled the rope-a-dope on him, got Dan Snyder to pay him like $40 million, played like half a season and then retired, and then got like pretty much all the money. And so it was just like one of those things where Dan Snyder's willing to pay anything. And so some players take advantage of it, and I get it. I think they should, because this guy's an idiot. I personally think. I don't think he should be in ownership anymore. And hearing that he was leading this like sexual harassment type atmosphere and people like didn't want to come to work. I mean, this is the National Football League. This is football. This is sports. It's supposed to be about fun. It's supposed to be about entertainment. You should have fun going to work. I think about that for any job. Honestly, if you're not enjoying it, you should quit or look elsewhere, because, man, you've got to enjoy it. Life is too short. So for these people that have been working for the Washington football team, it sounds like it's not been fun there at all. I'm glad to see that maybe there's going to be some sort of change there now, and that maybe there will be some accountability going forward. But honestly, Dan Snyder kind of just suspended himself from the organization for like a month or two, right? And his wife is running the organization at this point now. So Dan Snyder is pretty much just texting her what to do. And that's not a sexist comment by any means. I'm just saying Dan Snyder's wife has never run an NFL organization, has never been part of this organization. Dan Snyder is still running this organization behind the scenes. So his fake suspension is just kind of pillow talk per se. And this is nothing. So I don't know. Hopefully the NFL takes a deeper look at this, and maybe the NFL can step in and suspend him for his actions at this point and help them clean up this organization. But yeah, at this point, does not shock me with a guy like Dan Snyder.
Yeah, and I don't believe anything this guy says. You know, like you mentioned, he brought his wife in to be the CEO. That's great that you brought a female CEO into your football organization. But because it's your wife, even if she's incredibly qualified, she's not set up for success, because now everybody thinks that you're just telling her what to do because you're the owner, you know, in principle. So if what he probably should have done to be taken more seriously is bring in a female CEO from the outside, not someone who's related to him, and just bring that CEO in to run the team. He can still be the owner. He's not going to give up ownership unless the NFL takes it away from him. So bring a CEO in to run the organization, okay? Because clearly you don't know how to run an organization because things haven't gone well since he showed up there. So you can still be the owner, you're still going to make the profits, but hire a CEO from the outside to come in and make sure the structure of that organization is correct. The other thing, too, with this whole thing is it was that not necessarily he was the one making the comments or making people uncomfortable. That wasn't revealed in the investigation, so to speak. But what happened was these women in the Redskins organization were coming to him, coming to the senior staff there and saying this is a problem, and they didn't do anything about it. So, unfortunately, these things happen in the workplace across the country, across the globe. We all want to put a stop to it as much as possible, but, unfortunately, people are human, and these things are going to happen, and the senior staff, the managers, the owners, those are the people that have to put a stop to it and, reprimand the people that are doing it. That's the only way the culture is going to stop. And that's how they failed once again here. So it's a failure of leadership from Dan Snyder and the senior staff with the Washington Redskins. And that's why this is a complete mess. And if you look at the Redskins right now, they had a nice season last year. They made the playoffs. They got this good young defense. They're eventually going to try to, build up the quarterback room there, and they're going to be trying to make a playoff push again. The NFC East is like kind of all over the place. They could certainly make the playoffs again next year. So you have all this good stuff. People are saying maybe they'll, we'll see what happens with the new nickname for the Washington football team. That would have been something new and exciting for the fan base. Then all of a sudden this thing drops because of the lack of leadership from Dan Snyder and his senior staff. It's just, he can't get out of his own way right now.
Yeah, man, give me all that money. I'll show you how to run a football team. And then the last line I'll say is Dan Snyder sucks, man.